my god, it's another week of Rent a Girlfriend. I can't do this. I can't. I'm not strong enough. But seriously though, I feel like I'm going insane. I feel like the last few weeks I've just been going insane with this show. Anyway, how are you? Also, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Rent a Girlfriend discussion video. Today we're talking all about episode 9, Lies and Girlfriend. Without further ado though, we're just gonna jump right into it. If you haven't done so, hit that sub button. If you're already subbed, consider hitting that join button. I'd appreciate it, but yeah, we gonna do this thing. I can't do this. I watched this episode at 2 times speed after the half point because I can't, man. I feel like I just can't do it. I feel like, and it's not Ruka's fault before anybody gets upset. Like, it is, but like, it's also not. I just feel like a lot of manga fans told me like, hey Chief, I know you said you like characters. This might not be for you. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, the characters in this show are great. And then they don't go anywhere. And then the story doesn't move forward. And then nothing happens. And literally manga readers of this, like literally people who have read this manga told me that, like, bro, it moves at a snail's pace. You are probably not gonna dig this. And I was like, nah, you're crazy. They were right. You were right. I should have listened. I shouldn't have been so arrogant and stupid. I mean, I'm always stupid, but like, you know what I mean? This is my fault. This is my fault. I did this. This is my fault. I brought us here. I brought you all along for the ride with me. I did this. This is me. I should have listened. How many episodes is this? Is it 12 or 13? I feel like we're too far in to stop at this point. I feel like we gotta at least finish season 1. I feel like we gotta do it at this point. I feel like we've gone too far. Like, you know, that like no turning back point. I feel like that's where we're at. I just feel like I'm going insane though. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy because halfway through this, like not even halfway through this episode, like 3 minutes in, I'm like, we've been here before. We've done this before. We've done all of this before. All of this has happened before, right? And I'm sitting here like, yeah, they've had this talk before. They've done like the walking through the street where they're holding hands and people are like, man, he's so lucky. Oh, she's so hot. We've done that before. Ruka hasn't changed at all. Mizu hasn't really changed at all. And Kaz hasn't changed at all. I mean, like, he kind of changed a little bit. He went from being like the dumpster fire of the show to being our boy. And now he's back to being a recycling bin, especially after this week. But like, I don't know. I feel like nobody's changing. But it's not even just nobody. I feel like the setting doesn't change. I feel like it's been the same. Like, am I insane? I feel like it's been the same thing. I feel like I'm going insane. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same. It's all the same. Like every scene feels the same. Even if the setting slightly changes, I feel like the things that happen are basically just the same. Like they'll introduce a new character to spice things up, you know, like, oh, here's Mami-chan, and Mami-chan's crazy. Oh, here's Ruka, and she's immature, and who knows what the other character's gonna be, and it's like, oh, it's wacky, right? But then they just kind of fall into their roles, and it's like nothing changes in the show. I feel like it's like a metaphor for this whole year. It's just the same. It's just the same, and you think things are gonna change, and they don't change. It's just the same thing. What is this video? Sorry, I think I had a mental breakdown. I didn't, that's not, I'm actually kind of losing it. I didn't mean to talk about, like, any of that. I don't know, I don't know what the hell. I'm supposed to be talking about the episode, and I went off the friggin', like, off the rails there. I'm sorry. It's just, like, when you think about it, I don't take back anything I said, though. Like, when I think about it, it's true. Like, doesn't it feel like the same thing? Like, did it just take me 9 weeks to realize that? It's like I feel like it's the same thing. We get these moments where it seems like things are gonna change, but then they don't. Like, as an example, let's actually talk about, like, one of the dynamics in this relationship, or in this episode, a relationship in this episode. Let's talk about Kaz and Mizu. they don't change. I have in my notes, like, this is annoying now. Their attitudes have regressed. And then ... No, have they just not changed? And I think that's it. I think I gave myself the impression that things were moving forward. Because you see Mizu, like, looking upset when Ruka was flirting with Kaz. But that's really nothing new because that happened with Mami-chan too. You know, like, and she's always been sort of like, there's always been some hint that, like, yes, she kind of has feelings for Kaz. And yeah, Kaz kind of has feelings for her. In fact, we absolutely know that he does. The only difference is that earlier, like, he was sort of lying to himself with Mami-chan, and then he admitted it, and it's like, oh, cool, that's a slight progression. But then after that, nothing friggin' changed. It's not like he told her. In this episode, he even gets the chance to say something. Mizu straight up asks him, like, hey, man, listen, I need you to level with me here. Do you love me, right? And Kaz says no, and I'm like, why would you say no? Like, I get why you'd say no, but, like, at this point, I need some kind of progression. I need something to be different. So just, like, I wish he said, like, and if I did, or something like that. Like, dance around it, like, let her know, like, yeah, but you can still dance around it by being like, and if I did, like, what would that change? Just to get an idea, you know, like, put yourself out there. You already jumped off of a boat to save this girl, and you almost died in the process. Like, and that sounds big, right? That sounds like it'd be this big, important thing that changes their relationship dynamic, but nah, not really. Like, it hasn't really, like, I'm looking at, like, I'm trying to think, like, where they were at the end of episode 1 when they had that really sweet scene on the bench to where we are now, and it's a little different, a little bit, but for the most part, it's the exact same thing. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. If you take a shot every time I say I feel like I'm crazy or insane, like, I'm pretty sure you'd be dead at the halfway point of this video. So don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, it's nuts to me. Even Mizu, right? Even Mizu, who I've been, like, championing this whole time. I'm like, Mizu's got it going on. Mizu's where it's at. Even Mizu's starting to drive me crazy. Like, Mizu saying, like, oh, good, I'm glad, you know, blah, 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 like, this is just business. It's like, Mizu, not only have I seen you be upset when Mami-chan is around Kaz, I've seen you be upset now when Ruka's around Kaz. Who you think you kiddin'? He the earth and heaven to you, baby, why you hidin'? Just the whole, all of the Won't Say I'm in Love song from Hercules. Somebody sing it to Mizu because she needs to hear it right now. Where's the sirens when you need them? Girl, you care about him. I don't care what you think. Like, it's how you feel. And at the very least, for God's sakes, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, at least Ruka is acting on her feelings. You know, it's like at least Ruka's aware how she feels and is acting on it, even if she's insane about it, even if she's a psycho, even if she's immature. She's at least acting on her feelings. I have a little bit of respect for her in that regard. Mizu, I obviously respect, but it's like, girl, just stop being so cold and distant when you clearly care about him. I know you're in defense mode, but you've been in defense mode since episode 1. We're on episode 9 now. We're almost done. We're almost at the end of season 1, and I don't see any of these characters being anything different. They're not different. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. Even Granny is, like, still crazy about Mizu, as if, like, this is, like, her first time seeing her, like it's the exact same thing, you know, like, and again, they're just carrying it on, they're just doing the same thing, and again, even though I might not be a big fan of Ruka's, she's the only one making any sense in this episode, and that's a bad sign. Like, Ruka being like, you can't keep doing this forever, you and Mizu cannot keep doing this forever, you can't, right? And I'm like, oh my god, she's right. Like, you can't keep doing this. Like, thank you, someone said it. Like, and Kaz has this, like, admittedly kind of cute idea of, like, him and Mizu being, like, this old elderly couple, and, like, they're still doing the whole, like, rental service thing. Like, she's like, just so you know, it's up 1,000 yen this week. He's like, thanks again. And it's like, oh my god, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. That, you know, at this point, that, like, at first I laughed, but then I felt this, like, horrifying dread that I'm like, you know what? I can see that. I can almost see that happening. And that's, like, I know that it's, like, I'm half kidding, but the idea of it just, like, continuing on into infinity, like, I laughed and then felt dread about that scene because it's like, oh my god, Ruka, save him. Save him. Save me, Ruka. Save all of us. Just end this. End this. I'm rooting for Ruka now. How did we get here? How did we get, like, I'm not even, like, looking at my notes anymore. Like, for those of you who don't know, I take little bullet point notes, and in my notes, I'm, like, anti-Ruka, but the more I think about it, don't get me wrong, she sucks. She's the worst. She's immature. She's nuts. Like, she's just an idiot in the way that she conducts herself, but my god, at the very least, she's, like, a ticking time bomb that might actually, like, change things. You know what I mean? Like, everything else, all these other characters, like, they're not as immature, as reckless, as stupid as Ruka, and I'm sorry, I know y'all like Ruka, and you could dislike this video to hell and back if you feel like it. At this point, I don't care anymore. I just, like, at the very least, like, no matter how you feel about Ruka, you have to admit, not only does she have a point, but she is, like, the catalyst for possibly changing things when she shows up. And let's go ahead and talk about Ruka now anyway. Like, screw it, we're already on the topic. Let's just go. Screw the rules. Let's just go. We're just all over the place now. When Ruka shows up to New Year's, to the New Year's celebration, right? It's Kaz's family, Kaz's parents, Granny, and Kaz, and he's bringing Mizu along, you know, and Mizu's still doing her whole, like, I mean, yeah, I am your girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And, like, okay, I don't disagree. I think that, like, Mizu's right to have that, like, distance, right? But with her other clients, it's Kaz, right? Like, at this point, again, like I've said already, like, it's so blatantly clear that she has some kind of feelings. I would almost like to... A part of me almost wishes this show wasn't about Kaz and Mizu. Like, a part of me almost wishes this whole show was about a different rental girlfriend thing every week. I almost think that'd be better. Like, it can start with Kaz and Mizu, like, start with the way episode 1 began, right? And just don't have the whole Granny situation happen. Or, like, don't have, like, I don't know, like, just don't have them be next door neighbors or whatever the hell. Like, don't have it continue, just have it end there, where it's like, it's sweet, and then they kind of move on, right? And then at the end, at the tail end, you can have them come back. I almost wonder if that would have been more interesting, like a different romantic, like, it's a different couple every week, and some of them, and, like, it's just this rental girlfriend service that, like, helps dudes put the pieces of their hearts back together and then move on. And, like, maybe once or twice they get together with the rental girlfriend, but for the most part, they're just there to help them get back on their feet. I almost wonder if that's a better idea. And I kind of want to see that show. But, again, like, Mizu's the consummate professional, you know? She's doing her best out here. And I know we were going to say that, and I know I said that we're going to talk about Ruka, but again, I'm all over the damn map this week. So, yeah, let's talk about Ruka. So Ruka, flat out, in front of everybody, says, I'm his girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, this is why people don't like you. And I thought it was just me. Like, I remember being very nervous last week, and I thought it was just me. And there's a fair amount of people who were heated, who were pissed because I insulted their waifu, you know? And don't get me wrong, I get kind of judgy when people, like, make fun of my husbandos and waifus, but I don't threaten them over the internet on my computer through my keyboard like a tool. Because, yeah, that happened. Some of the comments I had to, like, some of, like, the comments that I had to get rid of, it would make your head spin. Some Ruka fans were cool, though, where they were like, listen, man, this is why I like Ruka. This is why I think you're wrong. This is why I think, like, you're off base. And those comments, I'm like, yeah, cool, right on. Like, I'll listen to those, right? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, if you think I'm off base, by all means, like, tell me why. But it's just, like, when, the anger that comes out. It's like, I can tell why Ruka's your favorite, because you're both immature. Like, Ruka just outing, like, that she's Kaz's girlfriend in front of everybody, it's like, how did you think they were gonna take that? Like, because even Granny's just like, you break up with Ruka right now. Like, Ruka's thinking, like, I'm gonna tell them that I'm his girlfriend, and, like, Mizu will admit that she's the rental, and then everything will be great. Like, did she really think that that's what was gonna happen? Is that what she actually thought was gonna happen? It seems like that's what she thought was gonna happen. Everybody immediately started hating on her. Rightfully so, because she acts immature, reckless, and again, kind of dumb. It's like, why did you ever think that was gonna play out that way? Like, I get that she's younger than everybody else, but even as a teenager, I knew not to pull shit like this. even as a teenager, you know not to pull shit like this. So don't use that as an excuse. That's not like a saving grace for her. This is really colossally like, this isn't just like, oh, she doesn't have relationship experience. This is like, oh, she doesn't have like people experience. She must be like an alien who's not from this planet, who is still getting used to this human dialect and this human mannerisms, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only explanation for why Ruka does the things that she does, because it's insane. Not to mention, I probably have been using this as the screenshot for the whole friggin' thing, because I need to hammer this home. This friggin' shot, what you're seeing on screen right now, in fact, I'm probably gonna keep it up the whole time, just so I can hammer home that, like, yeah, this happens. Why? This is like such a like microcosm of the show. This just happens out of nowhere. Like, Ruka just grabs Mizu's boob. And it's like, okay, but why? And she's like, and this is in the middle of a heated conversation, by the way. Just in the middle of a heated argument. She's just like, glump. And I'm like, but, that is now the most what the fuck groping scene. By the way, the fact that there's more than one what the fuck groping scenes, this is one of many, and it's the weirdest one. Like, there've been some weird ones. Like, don't forget, like, when Kaz, like, reached out to be like, hey, wait, and he grabbed Ruka's, like, boob, and I'm like, okay, that was stupid then, but at the very least, like, he was reaching out to, like, stop her. Like, I think he was reaching for her shoulder or something. She just, like, grabs Mizu's tit, like, in the middle of this friggin' argument. And was it funny? No, not even really, because, like, I kind of just went, like, what the fuck? Like, it got that, like, slight, like, like, that little, out of me, but it was in the middle of saying, what the hell, right? I've been realizing I've been dropping F-bombs like crazy. I should probably stop that. But yeah, just in the middle of the, what the hell? That's not a laugh, right? That's more of just, like, uncomfortable, like, what are you doing? And it makes no sense, and it just hammers home that I'm like, Ruka is just not human. Like, I'm just, if this show ended with the reveal that Ruka actually made up the arrhythmia thing and she's an alien, like, that wouldn't surprise me. I will give Ruka some props, though. Like, we can transition away from the boob grabbing scene. I will give Ruka some props that, at the very least, like, when she tries to talk to Gran later, and she tries to, like, make her case as to why she should be Kaz's girlfriend and yada yada. Like, I will give her this, that she at least is, like, she, again, as I said, it makes sense why she's doing, like, I mean, it doesn't make sense. But for me, it makes sense that I would want to see that, right? Like, I get why they think the audience wants to see that, because it would stop the monotony, right? If she just reveals, like, hey, I'm his girlfriend, that way. And she even says to Mizu, like, I'm willing to take over. You can just be a proper rental girlfriend and walk away, which did bug me, because I'm like, girl, there ain't nothing proper about you. So don't be calling other people, like, don't be calling other people out on not being proper. Ain't nothing proper about you, especially as a rental girlfriend. Do not even, like, do I need to remind you what happened with our boy Kuri not that long ago? Okay? Like, ain't nothing proper about you. You don't get to talk anything like that to Mizu at all. Okay? Okay? So, that was weird. But, at the same time, I have to give her credit for at least trying to break up the monotony of the show and, like, trying to talk to Gran alone. And I was like, okay. Like, listen, Ruka, I'm not a big fan of yours, but I'm with you here. What are you gonna say? And she goes like, listen, it's about Mizu. And Gran at this point, and like the whole family thinks that she's a pathological liar, which admittedly is more believable than Kaz having two girlfriends, which like I don't fault Granny for saying. It's kind of true. But yeah, so that's where she's at. So she says like, it must be great being friends with Mizu and blah, 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 blah. And it makes Ruka realize like, oh, she loves Mizuhara like a lot. And if I tell her she's a rental girlfriend, it'll break her. So I can't say anything. And I was like, Ruka, that's good shit. That's good shit. Again, let it be known that I am trying to be fair to Ruka as much as I can. Because I get that she's younger and sometimes it takes longer for things to click. But again, this goes beyond being younger and into just being a straight up alien. But at the very least, I liked this scene. It does end with Ruka saying that she's not going to give up on Kaz, though. She's just going to pretend for Gran that she's just Mizu's friend, which is like, okay. And she eventually gets a job at Kaz's karaoke place, which also happens, which is again like, okay. And I didn't even mention the friggin' love hotel scene, which like, just, again, okay. Just end the video. Okay, that's gonna wrap up my thoughts. I think I got everything out. I think I got everything I had to get out. I'm sorry. I don't know what this video is. I'm still gonna put it out, but I don't know. I don't know what this video is. Should I keep going? Should I keep going? Do you guys want me to keep going? Next week does look interesting. I don't know. You tell me. That said, if you somehow enjoyed this weird-ass video, then don't forget to boop that up snoot and share if you care. And of course, as always, I have to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all of these beautiful names. And hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are 2 ways to do so. The first is by checking out that first link in the description to check out our Patreon page. And the second, for just a little bit more, is by hitting that join button next to the sub button to get yourself a nifty badge next to your name in the comments and premieres, as well as some emotes that you can spam in said premieres. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and check out the join button. Go ahead and check out the Patreon if you'd like that too. Either way, it's a big help. Thank you very much. But on that note, everybody, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna make like a nice cup of tea and just play some Animal Crossing. I think that's the play right now. I think that's the play. But yeah, until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.